Embarking on a road trip from London to Lagos presents a multitude of challenges that test both the physical and mental endurance of the traveler and the capabilities of the vehicle. Spanning thousands of kilometers and crossing numerous borders, the epic road trip is not for the faint of heart. But that did not stop Pelumi Nubi, a Nigerian travel content creator who just made history as the first black female to drive solo from London to Lagos. Pelumi tells me that completing the arduous trip required resilience and adaptability to the diverse landscapes and cultures, but that meeting the people along the way made the journey truly unforgettable. Hello, Pelumi. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Voice of America. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So I see, I don't know where you are. I don't even, but it's a very interesting background that you have over there. What do you say?
I said the life of a traveler, always on the go.
Exactly, always on the move. Anyway, so we're here to talk about your trip that you embarked on, I think, from London to Lagos, right?
Yes.
What inspired you to embark on this ambitious journey, and how did you prepare for such a long journey, both mentally and physically?
So, I was born in Lagos, Nigeria, grew up in London, and each time I travel back, I was just kind of flying back home, flying over this, set of West African countries, especially. And I just got curious, I did a solo drive across Namibia earlier in 2023, sorry, which was amazing. Absolutely loved it. And I just thought there was not enough representation within the overland community. You tend to see people that look not like me, group of people, but solo traveling as a Black woman just wasn't the norm. I know that quote, be the change you want to see. So I packed up my bag, I did a lot of research, and I got on the road, hoping to inspire other people to step out of their comfort zone and to seek new adventure.
That's the way to step out of your comfort zone. I mean, come on now. Driving how many countries, being a trailblazer in this. What challenges did you face along the way, and how did you overcome them?
Very good question. So definitely doing this solo. This is an expedition, basically. It's usually by a group of people. You have someone in charge of medical, someone in charge of, the route, someone cooking, someone, actually driving. I have to do all of those roles all at the same time. So juggling multiple hats was definitely challenging. Being solo by myself got lonely sometimes. The border, West Africa especially, that was definitely a lot of issue, which I highlighted. And even more so, just the sheer pressure of being on the road for so long, it wears you out after a while. I remember having a deep exhale and someone was like, "What's wrong? What happened?" And I'm like, "Just driving. It's stressful,
How many hours in totality did you drive?
I don't have exact documents, which is important for something like this next time. I would definitely love to log all this information.
Yeah.
But it was 74 days on the road.
What's the average average hours a day to driving?
I would say about 5 to 6 hours was my average. Some days there were 10 hours drive. Some days there were 2 hours drive. But I'll say average about 5 to 6 hours.
And how did the diverse landscapes and cultures that you encountered along the way influence your perspective on the world? And can you share some of the most memorable moments or experiences that you had during your travels?
Honestly, this is the joy of travel. You can't even put a price tag on it. It's like there's just so much memories. You can talk about the time I was driving through Morocco and, just seeing the Atlas Mountain and the swirly road and how beautiful. When your vocabulary runs out and you're just screaming, wow, wow, like just absolutely amazing. Driving through the Sahara Desert, one of the most isolated places in the world, and just being by myself and my thoughts, going through the Senegal, St. Louis by the beach, Gambia, the most amazing beaches I've ever seen in my whole life. Trying food in Sierra Leone and, just having these memories. And honestly, it was the people. The countries were the backdrop, but the people, the story sharing, the shared experience, that I'll forever be talking about. Like my grandchildren will be sick of me at one point, like, "Okay, grandma."
At least you have stories to tell, you know what I'm saying?
I have stories
you
to
tell them,
tell.
top that.
Know that quote, traveling leave you speechless, then turn you to a storyteller. I am definitely want to testify of that.
Mm. How did you navigate through the different countries and cultures, especially considering the language barriers or cultural differences?
A lot of research pre. So this took a year plus of planning. It wasn't just a spontaneous, let's do it. So I researched a lot of kind of what are the cultural expectations, what are the norms, especially doing this as a female. There's just certain places that females are expected to behave in certain ways. You know, talk to people that have done previous kind of like similar trips to myself, and just really reading up about, you know, keeping up to date with the news and what is going on in those places even before I arrived. But yeah, it took a lot of research. In terms of language, I learned the basic words, even if it's just hello, please help, like just basic vocabularies. And a smile is a universal language. You know, if I'm stuck, if I need a bit of help, just approaching with some level of friendliness. I
A
got that
smile.
Yeah.
Yes.
The smile is the secret weapon.
But were there any unexpected encounters or interactions that, you know, left a lasting impact on you?
You know, people just, you know, doing audacious stuff. I remember in France, I wanted to do something spontaneous, and I looked at Instagram and I was like, oh, there's this big bridge, you know, one of the longest bridges in the world down in south of France. Let me paraglide across this bridge. It was spontaneous, and I met someone. The instructor was like, okay, I just check the wind. We can do it today. And it was as spontaneous as I can. And I got to learn, like, you know, it was very much in the water activity growing up. And you used to just see people in the sky, and he was so mesmerized by this, and it got him wanting to be part of it. And that's what has become his career now. So just seeing something, I think representation is so important. That's why I've done this road trip. It's kind of like, you know, if for once you want to do this road trip, number one, you can. You've seen a Black woman do it. And even more importantly, if you thought London to Lagos was impossible, now you've seen Pelumi do it. Maybe you can go over your impossible things.
Absolutely. That was actually going to be my next question. As a trailblazer, what message do you hope to convey to other women, especially women of color who aspire to undertake similar adventures?
Do it. The magic is in the doing. You know, if I was umming and ahhing, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am right now. I think there's definitely a level of preparation, but at one point you need to set a deadline. And you know what? I'm going to book the ticket. I'm going to do this thing that forces you out of your comfort zone. So go for it and do it.
Absolutely. And what role would you say your identity as a Black man, as a Black woman, played in shaping your experiences this trip? Was that even a factor at all? Yeah.
It was a factor. Being Black definitely allowed me to have some more intimate experience than a foreigner would, just because of the privilege of my skin color. You know, I'm not really seen as a foreigner. I'm welcomed a bit more. But even more so, it was important to showcase that, you know, as Black women, I think people say what shocked me the most about the trip. I was shocked that people were still shocked that women do stuff like this. Like, we're in 2024, of course we can solo drive across Africa. What is so incredible about that? But obviously we still live in a society that see women having certain roles, and it's still this kind of, wow, I want to live in a society where someone says she drops it, like, yeah, women do that, you know. And that will be the change that I hope to see in the nearest future.
And finally, Pelumi, what would you say you learned about yourself during this journey, and how did it change you as a person?
I saw a strength that Pelumi I didn't know she had. You know, I know I've been quite audacious. I know that I've kind of like always stepped out of my comfort zone. But there's this strength that when everybody said it was impossible, after my accident, for example, where the car was almost written off, like almost, you know, it was literally had to be put together again. I had to push. I had to be like, you know what they say, when you hit rock bottom, then you crawl up, you know how much strength you have.
Absolutely.
That was amazing to see. And nobody could tell me anything now. I'm just like, I've done the impossible. What next? Let's go for it.
Pelumi, I guess, what is your plan next? What other adventures are you about to embark on now that you have conquered one of the biggest adventures?
We are resting for first of all, we're taking a big exhale. I think as humans, we're very quick to move past our achievements. This was a year plus in planning and then executing. So just take it in, take in the moment, spend time with yourself, take it all in. But I'm an adventurer at heart. You know, I've visited over 80 plus countries. I'm always on the go. I would find something new and adventurous to do. But yeah, right now, I'm just taking it one day at a time.
Where are you, first of all? I'm just really interested to know where you are.
It's a secret.
I'm
But
going
if
to
you can
be,
guess,
I'm
I
trying
would
to,
give you something.
eh,
While we doing that, guess the location.
I don't
The
want to be
best I can
flying
tell
from
you,
building to building. Like, is
the
that your
best
next
I can tell you
adventure?
is somewhere in the Middle East.
I was
That's
gonna
the
say
best
that
I can give to you.
Dubai, whatever. Either way, Pelumi, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us, and
Such a pleasure.
congratulations on such a great achievement. And
Thank
hopefully
you.
we'll talk again and talk to you about your next big adventure. But take this in.
I will. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
for
having
inspiring.
me.
Bye
Bye.
bye.